Hi. In this video, I will explain about the Japanese horse racing program. Many of the Japanese races are difficult to understand because the names are in Japanese. So I would like to explain each category. This time, sprint and mile short distance racing program. As of 2021, there are 6 short-distance Grade 1 races held by the Japan Racing Association (JRA). And one of them is a race for 3-year-olds only, while the rest follow the normal rules. Specifically, every year, 3-year-olds can only run in races that are restricted to 3-year-olds until June, after which they can run with 4-year-olds and up. 3-year-olds can race with 4-year-olds and up after June, but of course there are races for 3-year-olds only until the end of the year. With this in mind, I will introduce them in order. The first Grade 1 race was the Takamatsu No Miya Kinen. This race is held around the end of March, and takes place over the 1,200-meter Chukyo course. It is the Spring Sprint Championship race. Originally held in the summer, it was a Grade 2 race of 2,000 meters, but in 1996 it was upgraded to Grade 1 and held in May, and in 2000 it was changed to March, giving it the image of being a March race. The name Takamatsu no Miya refers to Prince Nobuhito Takamatsu no Miya of the Japanese imperial family, from whom the championship cup was presented in 1970. After this race, Osaka Cup, Oka Sho and Satsuki Sho will follow, so this race is positioned as the opening race of the Spring Grade 1 series. The starting point is the second corner, and there is a gentle uphill gradient right after the start. After that, it was a downhill course with a height difference of 3.5 meters all the way down to the fourth corner. And the final straight course is 412 meters long, with a 2-meter uphill climb that must be crossed with 350 meters to go. The next race is NHK Mile Cup. Only 3-year-old horses are allowed to run in this race. This race is held around the second week of May. Until 1995, the race was run over 2,000 meters and was positioned as a prelude to the Derby, but in 1996, it was changed to a Grade 1 race over a mile. Until the race was opened in 2001, foreign-born horses did not have the right to run in classic races such as the Derby, so for a while it was like a substitute Derby for them. This race will be held at 1,600 meters in Tokyo. As the course continues in a straight line after the start, there is not much difference in advantage or disadvantage depending on the inside or outside frame. The final straight course is 525 meters long, with a height difference of 2.7 meters and an uphill climb. The course is tougher than the 1,600-meter distance, and horses whose limit is 1,600 meters often suffer. The next race is the Victoria Mile. This race is held the week after the NHK Mile Cup, and only fillies 4 years old and older are allowed to run. The race is held at 1,600 meters on the Tokyo course. This is the same as the NHK Mile Cup. This is a new Grade 1 race that was established in 2006. For mares, racing against male horses is often a disadvantage, so this is a race where mares only can aim for the title. But mares are so strong these days that even if they are racing with males, they will win regardless. The next race is Yasuda Kinen. Yasuda Kinen is held roughly in the first week of June. As explained earlier, starting in June, 3-year-old horses will be able to run in these races. This race is also held at 1,600 meters on the Tokyo course. The name Yasuda Kinen comes from the name of Izumi Yasuda, the first chairman of the Japan Central Racing Association, and Kinen means memorial. He left the name of the race in honor of his achievements. This is a race with a long history. It was founded in 1951, initially as a handicap race, but after the introduction of the grading system in 1984, it became a Grade 1 race and has long existed as a race to determine the mile champion of the spring season. As explained earlier, this course is 1,600 meters, but because there is a hill on the straight course, it is difficult to win without power and stamina over 1,600 meters. So not only short-distance horses but also middle-distance horses tend to gather for this race. And conversely, horses that do well in this race tend to do well in the middle distance as well. Foreign horses are allowed to run in the races I have described so far, but I have the impression that horses from Hong Kong are particularly active in Yasuda Kinen. That's it for the short Grade 1 series for the spring season. After this, there will be an interval of about 3 months. Because of the hot summers in Japan, top-class horses are often sent to Hokkaido and other cooler areas for grazing. Then, at the end of September and the beginning of October, there will be the next Sprinters Stakes. Just like the Takamatsu No Miya Kinen in the spring, the Sprinters Stakes marks the start of the Grade 1 series in the fall. The Sprinters Stakes is held over 1,200 meters at Nakayama Racecourse. The race has a relatively long history and has existed since 1967. Then, when the grading system was introduced in 1984, it was graded as Grade 3. It was later changed to Grade 2 in 1987, and upgraded to Grade 1 in 1990. This race has changed quite a bit, being held in March or October, but since it became a Grade 1 race in 1990, it has been held the week before the Arima Kinen race at the end of the year, and has become the championship race for short-distance horses. Then, in 2000, the timing was changed to the same as now. This 1,200-meter course starts after the start with a 4.4-meter descent to the corners, and the final straightaway has a steep hill that climbs 2.2 meters before the finish line. The straightaway course is relatively short, at 310 meters, and the type of horses that catch up from behind tend to struggle a bit. And the final short-distance Grade 1 race of the year is the Mile Championship. This race is held in late November, a month and a half after the Sprinters Stakes. It is exactly 1 week before the Japan Cup. The Mile Championship is held at 1,600 meters on the Kyoto course. This race was established in 1984. Not only horses with proven track records in the shorter distances, but also horses that finished in the top positions in Tenno Show Autumn and 3-year-olds that have grown rapidly over the summer tend to gather, making for a diverse field in many cases. It is also a race where a strong horse often wins 2 years in a row, and since 1984, a total of 5 horses have won the race 2 years in a row. Kyoto's 1,600-meter course is flat and straight from the start, and climbs uphill from around the third corner. Then, the top of the hill is reached at the third corner, and there is a downhill from there to the fourth corner. The last straight course is flat and is about 400 meters long. Because of this course format, the results are more likely to be in line with your ability than the Nakayama course. These are the 6 short-distance Grade 1 races sponsored by JRA. I feel that in the short distance, the reign of champions is shorter and the turnover is faster than in the long distance. And in many cases, the winning horse is different for each race. It's hard to maintain a throne in the short-distance world. That's why I think more highly of champion horses who have reigned in the short-distance world for a long time. That's all for this time. If you want to know more about Japanese horse races, subscribe to this channel. Thank you.